Okay.
I may speak to things I think are appropriate.
Sure, absolutely.
But
It's actually, I don't want it
and
to,
all the technical things.
I don't want it to feel formal, I want it to be relaxed, you know, so your responses are coming from the heart or from your knowledge or from how you feel, so that's what we're looking for here.
Did like 10 years on the radio here, so.
Oh, perfect. This is my first time conducting an interview this way.
So we are rolling at your leisure.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I could please ask you to, each of you, to introduce yourselves.
Russ,
What?
introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. Chief Ross Montour, Mohawk Council of Ganawagi.
I'm Patrick Rigaz, the Mohawk Council of Ganawagi.
Thank you. So our first question is, the Ocean Protection Plan is the largest investment made to protect Canada's coasts and waterways. How has the Ocean Protection Plan impacted Kanawaki?
So the Ocean Protection Plan has really helped Ganawagi in a number of ways. Through participation through the current EMSA project, to consultation and discussions and allowing our input through the cumulative effects of marine shipping, which is an issue that's really important to the community here in Ganawagi, to allowing us to apply for funding through a number of other initiatives. So it's been important so far, and we see it being a really important project going forward.
The Ocean Protection Plan has provided funding for the EMSA initiative. This initiative is important to the community because
So the Enhanced Maritime Situational Awareness Initiative is important for the community. Ganawagi was heavily impacted by the construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway in the 1950s that cut off access to the river for the community. So, there's large shipping vessels that pass immediately adjacent to the community on a regular basis. So the main reasons for participating in the initiative are to basically get a better understanding of where the vessels are coming and going. That will help improve safety for water users in the area. It will enhance access because the community is required to pass over a lift bridge to get to the river itself and some of their traditional fishing areas. So it will allow more information to be had by the community as to when they can get across that lift bridge. It'll help our emergency responders as well if we have information on what the ships are carrying in the event of an incident. And we're also interested in just using the platform itself to just enhance the distribution of the knowledge that we have in the community.
what did the council decide to participate? I'm sorry, why did the council decide to participate in the Enhanced Maritime Situational Awareness Initiative? Why?
Okay, I'll take that. Let me say this. Patrick alluded to the construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway as an example of projects that have occurred in my lifetime, which have had devastating impacts on the community at a time when there was no consultation, there was no ability to input why it was going to significantly impact our lives. And so now the opportunity does appear to exist. I think it appears to exist because we've done our part in insisting that it exists. So on a political level, any opportunity that we have, any place that we can engage with the governments involved, whether it's the federal government, whether it's the provincial government, whether it's about navigation, whether it's about fisheries, whether it's about cumulative effects at ports and everything else, those things are of vital interest to us, and we will continue to demand a place at the table. I'll say it that strongly. But when people are willing to an open-handed engagement, all the better. And this is an example of that today, in my view. I can't speak for the whole of the community, because this is actually, in many ways, going to be news to the community. But for the Mohawk Council, it's why, and as an example, okay, most of all, I'll let Patrick talk, okay? We engage people who have levels of expertise in education to cover those areas. If you were to look at it from a technical, scientific perspective, I look at it, and many of us look at it at a different kind of a level. That level is a spiritual level, cultural level. The knowledge that we have is embedded in our language, and that was lost. A lot of the language was lost to us because of the seaway. So when we look at, say, environment on any level, it's not just about how activity on the river is going to affect our ability to access fisheries. It's also about all of the other life in the river, because all elements of life impact all others in ways that you can't compartmentalize. You can't separate it and say, oh, we're looking at this, then we're going to look at, these guys are going to look at that. We look at it on a global, three-dimensional level, I would say. The address you heard this morning, the Ahode Gariwadekwa, is the words that come before all others. And it's about our relationship to the environment around it, what we call creation. From all the things that are underneath you, that maybe we walk over without a thought, but we're called to think about those things, because we have, those things continue to, in our way of looking at it, continue to carry out their original instructions. As human beings, we have to be in relationship to that in a balanced and harmonious way. So that's how I look at it. My role in Mohawk Council is in whatever ways I can bring that to interactions with governments, and that's what I will bring. I think it's an important message, especially in this time. The environment is critical. And we have knowledge. We all have knowledge, but we all have a responsibility to work towards ensuring that your great-great-grandchildren, my great-great-great-great-grandchildren will have a creation, a planet that they can thrive in. We need to change the way we're doing things.
Thank you. What has it been like working with the federal government alongside 9 other Indigenous communities?
Yeah, so the initiative is interesting in some ways because it's allowed us to work alongside other Indigenous communities from all the different coasts, and us in a more inland location as well. And we had some meetings together where all the different communities gave a presentation about their experiences and how the program could be of use to them, and that was a real eye-opener and a really great experience just to learn from those other communities. And I thought it was a really great opportunity just to bring together a group of people, including the federal government, to work collaboratively. Often times we seem to be more combative, so it was a really great chance just to work collaboratively on an initiative that's a benefit to all.
What will this technology mean for marine monitoring and awareness in the community? How do you specifically see the community using the system?
Yeah, so we're hoping the community will use the system directly. So we plan on hiring a staff member to work specifically on this project, basically targeting communications with the community, getting them aware of the system, and actually teaching and training them how to use it themselves. So we want community members to actually be taking this system, using it to track vessels and other important information to them within the system, but then also adding data points. So if there's a wildlife observation that they see or an area of concern that they identify, they can mark that right in the field and then just sync it up to the larger system, and the users that have access to that will then be able to have that knowledge as well. So we really see it as a way of just gathering knowledge from the community directly.
So for my information, this is not a question that was on here. In other words, individuals will be able to be on site somewhere, gather information, data, and enter it in some sort of software, and that will create a portrait of some sort in terms of what's occurring in the seaway. Is that sort of too generalized of a response, or is my interpretation of what's going on somewhere along those lines? Is that what that would be?
Yeah, essentially, yes. I mean, I would say it goes beyond the seaway to, the territory writ large. So, certainly it's an important tool for the marine shipping, but, if the pilot project goes well, we could see in the future, expanding this, or, using it for things beyond marine shipping to, terrestrial-based areas of interest. And, obviously we'll have to consider how the community wants information gathered and shared, and whether, this is something that's ultimately going to be the way forward for us. But certainly this pilot project is going to give us the opportunity to test out those different methods, and I think it's a really positive system.
And in fact, you were alluding to my next question, which is where would you hope to be in 1 year from now, once the opportunity for this pilot project to have been completed and to go with this new technology?
Right, so, after a year of testing the system, we do imagine there'll be some bugs along the way, and definitely some areas for improvement with the program as we move forward. But after a year, we certainly don't want to see everything just wrap up. It'd be great if the pilot could then be maybe expanded to other communities, or certainly maintained by the community, because we could see it as a real asset to the community going forward, not just for maritime shipping, but for other data gathering purposes.
That's great. If you have anything to add, my questions are done. It's up to you. Okay,
Not for me, good.
we're good.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was less painful than I thought it was.